do another Magic the Gathering video. So sit back and relax as we open a pre-release kit for Bloomburrow. Magic the Gathering Bloomburrow pre-release. So I have been continuing to play Magic, but you probably haven't seen, well, I know you haven't seen any videos come out for any Magic content in quite a few months. I haven't really liked the last couple of sets, and I've been kind of just, I don't know, not quite into them, but this one I was really excited about because it's got a bunch of cute little animals and nature. It just looks beautiful and cute, and I just really like it. I like the concept of like squirrel decks and all those kinds of things. So let's go ahead and get this open. On the cover you have a little rabbit, and he's looking at a stream. Looks like maybe some otters or some squirrels or something inside small boats. It's just a really beautiful, calm scene. Flowers and clouds. The box is green with a nice light green to contrast. And on the back you have a raccoon and a frog and a bird. I like how they all have clothing and packs and all that, even the birds. Beautiful flowers in blue. So let's get this open. Okay. So I have opened this. I will say I didn't even read this when I did my pre-release kit last night, so let's actually read it. I was too busy making my deck. The lush wilderness of Bloomburrow is home to tall tales and tiny heroes. Wielding spell and steel, a brave band of animals set out to uncover the secrets of the valley. Adventure awaits behind every leaf. That's so cute. I just love it. The art is very reminiscent of like The Secret of Nim. I don't know if anybody's seen that. It's pretty old. It's about a mouse and a bunch of rats, and anyways, it's a little dramatic, but I feel like the art style kind of reminds me of that. This is kind of one of those sets and art styles that just when you look at it, it just kind of makes you happy, you know? The colors are just very like aesthetically pleasing. You just kind of, it just brings about a really happy kind of vibe to it, and I really like it. I think it's really interesting that certain, colors and art and certain things can kind of make you feel that way. They like elicit that kind of emotion. So inside is just kind of a larger picture of the outside. Tiny little village, maybe the mouse's village. And that's about it. So I'm gonna put this to the side. You have your tokens and all kinds of things, the magic symbol. Okay, and the box again is pretty much just a repeat of the outside. So nothing new, just more beautiful art. Magic the Gathering. Alright. So I got a blue and a black, which I always I seem to get red and black and purple and black a lot. I don't get the other colors, so that's fun. Okay. So I didn't get like any of the sagas and things like that in my pre-release kit last night, so this is fun. So this one is Storm Chaser's Talent. So I'm gonna go ahead and open it off before I read it. So, but the rest of the box is pretty business as usual. You have a card separator with that kind of same art on it. Just very happy, kind of naturey vibes. And then the instructions, which again, I feel like they're so nice. Just kind of gives you a really good, general, hey, here's how to build a deck. So, if you don't know, this is a really great template to just kind of manage on. So the little picture for Bloomburrow is so beautiful. It's just so whimsical. You have all of these forest creatures and they are dressed in all kinds of outfits with magic and adventure, and it's just beautiful. So you have bird folk, noble communal transporters of aid and other animals. Rat folk, isolationist keepers of secrets and ancient relics. Lizard folk, cantankerous fire worshippers and expressive artists. Raccoon folk, free-spirited wanderers, collectors and entertainers. Rabbit folk, talented chefs and community-focused farmers. Bat folk, eccentric and mysterious nocturnal defenders. Otter folk, clever gamesters and storm-chasing daredevils. Squirrel folk, rabid stewards of the land, or morbid stewards of the land, and life-death cycle. Mouse folk, Plucky, loyal seekers of adventure and glory, and frog folk, curious, pessimistic practitioners of divination. Very beautiful. Art by Justin Gerard. Alright, I'm going to take the packs off of the camera to open them since they're so noisy. Alright, I have the tops cut off. What I'm going to do is just grab my mat. Morika ASMR. Alright, let's do the first one. Alright, so the first one is my promo card, Storm Chaser's Talent. So gain the next level as the sorcery to add its ability. When Storm Chaser's Talent enters, create a 1/1 red and blue auto creature token with prowess. Level 2 for blue and 3. When this class becomes level 2, return target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. And level 3, 5 and a blue. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, create a 1/1 blue and red auto creature token with prowess. So that's not bad. And then if you play Arena, feel free to take that, or I should say one of you. So, I don't actually play Arena. I like to play with the cards. Alright, our first pack, it's kind of a beautiful, like, lavender color. It's got a very adventurous mouse on the cover. It's got a shield there that looks like a leap and a flaming sword. Oops. So, first one we have is a Steam Path Charger. A 1 and a red. Lizard Warlock. You have kind of a funny wizard on the cover here. Not my favorite art, if I'm honest. Offspring 2, meaning that you may pay an additional 2 as you cast this spell. If you do, When this creature enters, create a 1/1 token copy of it, its offspring. When this creature dies, it deals 1 damage to target player. Hot-footed and cold-blooded, a 2/1 creature. Scales of Shale, 2 and a black. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each lizard you control. Target creatures get +2/+0 and gain lifelink and indestructible until end of turn. Like shedding, but backwards. An instant. Pollywallop. 3 and a green. This is an instant. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each frog you control. I did notice that it seemed like, you had to kind of pick your little clan. Or tribe, I should say. Target creature you control deals damage equal to twice its power to a target creature you don't control. We'll see who croaks first. An instant. Now that's some cute art. This reminds me of what was that really old kid story? Frog and Toad? Where you have oh gosh, it's really old. I don't know if I can even remember it, but it's like a toad and a frog and they're friends. But anyway, the art kind of reminds me of that. You have an otter and a frog kind of sailing in, through a bunch of lily pads and stuff. Choose 2 target creatures controlled by different players. Return those creatures to their owner's hands. Nobody bothered to look for Libo and Pula because everyone knew they didn't want to be found. Maybe they're in love. So an instant. Thistledown players. So you have a bunch of mice and they're raising their weapons, bows and swords and such. A mouse bard. Whenever Thistledown players attacks, untap target non-land permanent. I like that actually, that's really nice. In hand a sword to slay the frightful beast. In heart these words to soothe our frightened kin. Lily and the Ember Seed. I feel like this could be pretty useful. I like it. Rough Shod Duo. So you have like a raccoon and a mouse in there. They look like they're a tough little crew there. A 2 and a red. A mouse raccoon. So they have trample. Whenever you expend 4, target creature you control gets +1/+1 and gains trample until you end turn. You expend 4 as you spend your 4th total mana to cast spells during a turn. Unguard you, inadequate excuse for a foe. Challenged the mouse. Rah! Agreed the raccoon. Of course, that's exactly what that means. That's a really interesting art. I'm not sure what that is. 3 Tree Mascot. An artifact creature shapeshifter. A changeling. Meaning this card is every creature type. I like cards like that. Take some of that guesswork and all that stuff out with it. So for 1, add 1 mana of any color. Activate only 1 each turn. Every paw and claw should be at the celebration in the 3 Tree City. Even the float is smiling. Valley Gazette 4 Acorn Review. A 2/1 creature. That's some cool art there. Like all the otters are kind of like wizards and stuff. So you have either a red or a blue, 2, and then a 1. So you have an otter wizard. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put a 1/1 counter on Tempest Angler. Casting lines or casting spells, ain't no one better than me. 2/2. Brazen Collector, Raccoon Rogue, a 1 and a red. First strike, I always like first strike. Whenever Brazen Collector attacks, add a red. Until end of turn, you don't lose this mana as steps and phase end. Risks taken to review a prize only increase its value. A 2/1 creature. So I really like the art on this one. It's called Drift Gloom Coyote, a 3 and 2 white, an elemental coyote. When Drift Gloom Coyote enters, exile target creature an opponent controls until Drift Gloom Coyote leaves the battlefield. If that creature had power 2 or less, put a 1/1 counter on Drift Gloom Coyote. The frog is descending like a starving beast. I believe our expedition ends here. A 3/4. Bandit's Talent. Gain the next level as a sorcery to add its ability. When Bandit's Talent enters, each opponent discards 2 cards unless they discard a non-land card. And 1 black. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, if that player has 1 or few cards in hand, they lose 2 life. 3 and a black. At the beginning of your draw step, draw an additional card for each opponent who has 1 or few cards in hand. I feel like I always like to flip them over. There was a few sets with like the sagas and stuff, they would transform into something else, so I feel like I'm in the habit of flipping them over. The Jackdaw's Savior, 2 and a white. It's pretty. He's carrying a mouse in his claws there. Bird Cleric. He's got a smudge maybe. Flying. Whenever Jackdaw Savior or other creature you control with flying dies, return another target creature card with lesser mana from your graveyard to the battlefield. A 3/1. I like that. And then a forest. I like these new ones. They have like different versions for each season. So this one's like maybe spring or summer. It's a forest. And then we have a Night Whirl Hermit, a rat rogue with vigilance and threshold. As long as 7 or more cards are in your graveyard, Night Whirl Hermit gets +1/+0 and can't be blocked. He etches his secrets onto the shimmering shells of mussels, saving them to share with the great snail, a 1/4. And then a little token creature rabbit, who is very cute. That's the first one. Let's grab another. So we have another Steam Path Charger. Oh, I had a ton of these ones in my kit last night. Bonebind Orator, a 1 and a black. A Squirrel Warlock, Bard. I ended up playing black-green last night. A 3 and a black. Exile Bonebinder Orator from your graveyard. Return another target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. A great actor can breathe new life into old material. 2/2. Another Polywallop. And another Run Away Together. 2 creatures in love. Pileated Provisioner. So you have like a rat and then a bird. 4 and a white. A Bird Scout with flying. When Pileated Provisioner enters, put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control without flying. Aerial supporters train for years to make sure their weapons they drop land in the hands of the mice and not on their heads. 3/4. Pond Prophet. I like that art. It's got like a big toad or frog. He's green and blue. So this is a green and blue. We can pick which one, but 2 of them. Frog Advisor. When Pond Prophet enters, draw a card. The rainfall brings us news of the new world around us. I've learned a lot, but most of all, I've learned that it's very exciting out there. 1/1. Another 3-tree mascot. It's like a tongue twister. Tide Caller Mentor. Black, a blue, and 1. With Rat Wizard with Menace. Threshold. When Tide Caller Mentor enters, if 7 or more cards are in your graveyard, return up to 1 target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. The same tides that bring us knowledge can sweep us away. A 3/3. I wish I would have gotten this kit, or I should say I wish I would have used this kit last night. Blacksmith's Talent. When Blacksmith enters, create a colorless equipment artifact token named Sword with equipped creature gets +1/+1 and equipped for 2. 2 in a red. At the beginning of your combat on your turn, attach target equipment you control to up to 1 target creature you control. During your turn, equipped creatures you control have double strike and haste. I like that. Lily Splash Mentor. Green, a blue, and a 2. Frog Druid. Green and a blue. Exile another target creature you control, then return it to the battlefield under its owner's control with a +1/+1 counter on it. Activate only as a sorcery. Splashy entrances are my specialty, and they can be yours too. Try again. 4/4. Peerless Recycling. You have a raccoon with a bunch of like fruit and garbage. A 1 and a green. Gift a card. I had so many of these gift ones, and I gotta say I did not end up caring for it during gameplay. You may promise an opponent a gift as you cast this spell. If you do, they draw a card before its other effects. Maybe if I were to like not give the gift, but oh well. Return target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. If the gift was promised, instead return 2 target permanent cards from your graveyard to your hand. Ooh, I did not get this one. So I ended up getting like 2 pre-releases, a bundle, and a box. I haven't opened the box yet, but I did the bundle. Sorry, there won't be a bundle video. I was too excited. But I haven't used my box yet. Sunspine Lynx, 2 and 2 red, elemental cat. Players can't gain life. Damage can't be prevented. When Sunspine Link enters, it deals damage to each player equal to the number of non-basic lands that player controls. 5/4. Ooh, I really wish I would have had this. I would have completely done red. I felt like there was a lot of life gain in this one. At least with black, which is supposed to be one of the more powerful colors in this set, but that would have been lovely last evening. Then a plains, which I like because it was like a little, like a prairie or a meadow with a little mouse, and he's traveling. I think I put my forest somewhere in here, but that's okay. And then Harvest Right, Host, white and 2, Rabbit Citizen. Whenever Harvest Right Host or another rabbit you control enters, target creatures you control get a +1/+0 until end of turn. Then draw a card. If this is the second time this ability has resolved this turn. Many paws grew this feast, and many paws should share it. 3/3, so you have just like a bunch of rabbits sitting around like a big table. It's got a very like Last Supper kind of feel to the way that it's laid out, with like a standing bunny and then a couple of more shadowed rabbits in the side there. And then a token creature of fish. It's kind of pretty. Let's see. This one's a token creature, Squirrel Warrior. That's cute. Early Winter, 4 and a black. So choose one. Exile target creature. Target opponent exiles an enchantment they control. Yeah, I don't mind that. And then the climate changed and the world suffered. Cash grab instant. Mill 4 cards, and you may put a permanent card from among the cards milled this way into your hand. If you control a squirrel, or return the squirrel card to your hand this way, create a food token. Bellowing Crier. Is it like a frog that's yelling? A 1 and a blue. Frog Advisor. When Bellowing Crier enters, draw a card and then discard a card. Glarb's Court can always be found repeating his disastrous visions even when they're unwelcome. Thistledown Players, which we already had. A Raccoon Rallier. 1 and a red, 2/2 creature. Raccoon Bard. Target creatures you control gain haste until end of turn. Activate only as a sorcery. I used to play for family only until I realized I could inspire an entire party with a single note. Another Tempest Angler. Getting a lot of creatures in this one. A Junk Blade Bruiser. So you have a raccoon going bonkers there. And you have a red, green, and a 3, so you can choose which one. A Raccoon Berserker with Trample. Whenever you expend 4, Junkblade Bruiser gets a +2/+1 until end of turn. You expend 4 as you spend the 4th total mana cost spell during a turn. Each scrap shed from her battle axe is more likely to end up stored permanently in an enemy's skull. A 4/5. Jolly Gerbils. So you have like a Horn of Plenty and a couple of gerbils and a really big fish with a nice little bow. I like that. So Hamster Citizen, 1 white and a 1. 2/3 creature. Whenever you give a gift, draw a card. With all the chaos. Oh, if anybody knows, I was curious. The gift is not always the same, it seemed. But then some of the cards were like this, where it said, whenever you give a gift. So I guess maybe it'd be more like, no, not like this, but if you had one, there was like a couple of cards where it said, give a gift, but it didn't tell you what the gift was. So I was wondering what like the default gift would have been, if they're all kind of different, but I'll look it up at some point. With all the chaos going around, we thought it might be the perfect time to take a break and have a nice picnic. Would you like to join us? 2/3. A Wandertail Mentor. Raccoon Bard, a red and a green. Whenever you expand 4, put a 1/1 counter on Wandertail Mentor. You've all grown so much since I passed through this burrow last. Let's see where to begin this story. 2/2. This is a land, Mudflat Village. I got like 3 of these last night. Tap to add a colorless. Tap to add 1 black. Spend this mana only to cast a creature. 1 and a black and tap. Sacrifice Mudflat Village. Return target bat, lizard, rat, or squirrel card from your graveyard to your hand. And then Splash Lasher, a 3 and a blue, Frog Wizard. Offspring for 1 and a blue. When this creature enters, tap up to 1 target creature and put a stun counter on it. If a permanent with a stun counter would become untapped, remove it instead. 3/3. A Kidnap. 2 and 2 blue. Gift a card. So this is the draw one. Enchant a creature. When Kidnap enters, tap enchanted creature. If the gift wasn't promised, put 3 stun counters on it. You control enchanted creature. And then an island. It's pretty. Druid of the Spade. You have a rabbit with a bunch of other rabbits kind of worshipping them maybe. 2 and a green. So you have Rabbit Druid. As long as you control a token, Druid of the Spade gets +2/+0 and has trample. The Druid brought the best out of the soil and, in turn, the best out of the fluffle. 2 and a 3. Let's get another. Another Early Winter. Another Cash Grab. Another Bellowing Crier. Another Pileated Provisioner. Another Raccoon Rallier. Oh, this one's new. Assassin, a 1 and a black. Lizard Assassin. Whenever Agate Blade Assassin attacks, defending player loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. I was trying to do a lot with the life gain stuff. Didn't work out in my favor, but I felt like I did pretty good. Whenever Agate Blade Assassin attacks, oh wait, I already read that, sorry. Some lizard folk wield the precious agate and yearn for fire. Others wield it and thirst for blood. 1/3 creature. Here's our Berserker again, Junkblade Bruiser. This one's new. It's like a mouse with a little dragonfly here. Veteran Guard Mouse, a red and a white. Valiant. Whenever Veteran Guard Mouse becomes a target of a spell or ability you control for the first time each turn, it gets +1/+0 and gains first strike until end of turn. Scry 1. 3/4 creature. A Shoreline Looter. That's a rat, but he's got like a bunch of, I don't know, sort of, kind of armor. A 1 and a blue. Shoreline Looter can't be blocked. Threshold. Whenever Shoreline Looter deals damage to a player, draw a card, then discard a card unless 7 or more cards are in your graveyard. A Water Skimmer's ability to sense danger in the slightest ripple makes them prized companion for a long river dollars. Oh, that's not a dragonfly, that's a what do you call it? A skimmer. Oh, that's cool art. It's an Otter Wizard. Blue and a red. So this one is Stormcatch Mentor with haste and prowess. Instant and sorcery spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Actually, I don't know if we've had prowess yet, so we go. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, this creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Only novice mages would burn their whiskers, so pay attention. A 1/1. A Hunter's Talent. When Hunter's Talent enters, target creature you control deals damage equal to its power and to target creature you don't control. For 1 and a green, whenever you attack, target attacking creature gets +1/+0 and gains trample until end of turn. And for 3 and a green, at the beginning of your end step, if you control a creature with power 4 or greater, draw a card. Oh, look at that. It's a legendary, guys. Hugs Grizzly Guardian. So that looks like a badger. And he's got a skull, or a skeleton. So this is a red-green creature, 2 red, 2 green, and X. So Badger Warrior has trample. When Hugs Grizzly Guardian enters, exile the top X cards of your library until the end of your next turn, and you may play those cards. You may play an additional land on each of your turns. Most of his scars tell tales, a few tell jokes. I like that. 5/5. I don't really play red-green very much though. A forest. So that one looks kind of like autumn or winter maybe. It's got like a little rabbit, but it's really kind of striking the way it looks. Whenever you attack, target creature you control gets +1/+0 until end of turn. If that creature is a token, it also gains Death Touch until end of turn. Just because it's natural doesn't mean it's healthy. A 1/4. Now that's some true words right there. And then a Starscape Cleric Bat token. There were a lot of tokens I found. Another Scales of Shale. Another Polywallop. Another Runaway Together. Another Thistledown Player. Another Roughshod Duo. Oh, here's a new one. Hidden Grotto. When Hidden Grotto enters Surveil. 1. Look at the top card of your library and you may put it into your graveyard. Tap to add 1 colorless, and then 1 and tap to add mana of any color. It's nice. Pond Prophet. Another one of those. Here's a new one. Hive Spine Warrior. 2 green, 3. An Elemental Wolverine. When Hive Spine Wolverine enters, choose 1. Put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control. Hive Spine Wolverine fights target creature token and destroy target artifact or enchantment. A 5/4 creature. Patchwork Banner. An artifact for 3. As Patchwork Banner enters, choose a creature type. Creature type you control. Of the chosen type, get a +1/+1. Tap to add 1 mana of any color. With Thistle, Quill, Twig, and Beak, the finest artisans of each animal folk society switched unique quilts, patched together as a symbol of harmony. A Thoughtstalker Warlock. 2 and a black. A Lizard Warlock. With Menace. When Thoughtstalker Warlock enters, choose a target opponent. If they lost life this turn, they reveal their hand. You choose a non-land card from it, and they discard that card. Otherwise, they discard a card. 2/2. Gossip's Talent. So, whenever a creature you control enters, Surveil 1, and then 1 in a blue. Whenever you attack with targeting attack, or with attack, whenever you attack, target attacking creature with power 3 or less can't be blocked this turn. 3 in a blue. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you may exile it, then return it to battle under the owner's control. An Essence Channeler, that's some kind of fun artwork there. Bat Cleric. As long as you've lost life this turn, Essence Channeler has flying and vigilance. Whenever you gain life, put a 1/1 counter on Essence Channeler. When Essence Channeler dies, put its counters on target creature you control. And then another Plains, the Spring Variety. Ooh, look at the art on that one, guys. 2, a blue and a black, a Rat Rogue. Ward 2, and if creature an opponent controls would die, exile it instead. At the beginning of each end step, create X 1/1 black rat creature token with. This creature gets 1/1 for each other rat that you control, where X is the number of creatures your opponent controls that were exiled this turn. 3/4. Not bad. And then that's some really pretty art on an art card. Looks like one of those Luna moths. I'm not sure. No, those are green. I'm not sure. It's fantasy. Last one, guys. Alania's Pathmaker, an otter wizard, falling and worry more about where it's landing. Another Bonebind Orator. Tree Guard Duo, Frog Rabbit, green and 3. When Tree Guard Duo enters until end of turn, target creature you control gains vigilance and gets +X/+X, where X is the number of creatures you control. You shall not pass, croaked the frog, nor me, growled the rabbit. A 3/4. Pearl of Wisdom, 2 in a blue, sorcery. This spell costs 1 less to cast if you control an otter. Draw 2 cards. Otterfolk divers compete to bring up the biggest, purest pearls they can find. Storing elemental magic in them is a bonus. Oh, that's really pretty. It's got like a bunch of white rabbits and they're kinda like a horde almost. 2 white, 2 instant. Creatures you control get +2/+1 until end of turn. If you control a rabbit, scry 2. You never fight just one rabbit poke. They bring the strength of their burrow to battle with them. Barkform Harvester, 3, Shapeshifter. So this is a changeling, so all types, with reach. Pay 2 to put target card from your graveyard on the bottom of your library. The farmers hide when it runs out of potatoes to harvest. It starts getting mean then. Seed Pod Squire, 3 and then choose red or, I'm sorry, not red, white or blue. Bird Scout, flying. Whenever Seed Pod Squire attacks, target creature you control without flying gets +1/+1 until end of turn. If you think he's loud now, wait until he starts his battle song. Clement, Pessimistic Adventurer, 3/3. Coruscatian Mage, Otter Wizard, with Offspring 2. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, this creature deals 1 damage to each opponent. A Curious Forager. I like that art. It's like a squirrel lifting all the leaves. 2 and a green. When Curious Forager enters, you may forage. When you do, return target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. The bones of calamity beasts are sometimes buried in caches where the power can grow quietly. 3/2. Feathers of Light, some kind of lizard with wings. A white and 1. Flash enchant creature. When Feather of Light enters, draw a card. Enchanted creature gets +1/+0 and has flying. As he grasped the glowing feather, the wizard's heart soared, and the rest of him quickly followed. That's good. Valley Quest Caller. I like that art. It's very happy. 1 and a white. Rabbit Warrior. Whenever 1 or more other rabbits, birds, bats, and or mice you control enter, scry 1. Other rabbits, bats, birds, and mice you control get +1/+1. No battle is fought or won alone. 2/3. I really like that card. Ooh, look at that. That's really pretty. Amber Heart Challenger. A 1 in a red. It's like a mouse warrior. Haste and prowess, valiant. Whenever Amber Heart Challenger becomes the target of a spell or ability you control for the first time each turn, exile the top card of your library until end of turn, and you may play that card. 2/2. An island but winter. Dire sight. 2 in a black. So this has Surveil 2, then draw 2 cards, and you lose 2 life. There is a fine line between predicting the future and causing it. That's a neat art. And then a token creature fish. I felt like last night I had way more like sorceries, instants, things like that. And not as many creatures. A lot of creatures. That's okay. Alright. Thank you so much for joining.